because we're only successful when science and community and all of us come
Yes.
together,
Yes.
right? Because you can't make a change as one person unless you're inspiring other people. And so I'm a firm believer that as one person, you have a ton of power,
Yeah.
but that power is to inspire other people.
Three things you're going to learn from today's episode. Number one, how real sustainability starts with truth, not trends. Number two, why the best leadership lessons come from the least likely places. And number three, how food becomes a vehicle for purpose and change. Welcome to this episode of the Heartbeat for Hire podcast. I feature Olympians, CEOs, disruptors, authors, professional athletes, and the best of the best, where they share their stories of resilience with my lens on leadership and culture. Let's get started. What do you get when you combine a world-class chef who's cooked for presidents, celebrities, and environmental change makers, a truth teller who calls out greenwashing and proves sustainability isn't a slogan, it's a responsibility, a mentor shaping the next generation of purpose-driven leaders? You get Chef Matt Beaudin, that's a mouthful, a chef who believes food can change the world. His story is one of purpose, impact, and the relentless pursuit of doing what's right, not just what's easy. Matt, welcome to the show.
What's going on? Thanks for having me. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited that you're here today. And I start every show the same. So I always ask our guests to share a little bit of their story. And your story is so good. So please, would you?
I will share the condensed version. And so I'm originally from Lincoln, New Hampshire, and so I came from like the smallest of small towns. My graduating class would have been like 8 kids, total school like 200. And so I started in this real small circle of like, what am I going to do with my life? And this was never supposed to be my story. It never was supposed to look like this. And had you gone back and looked in the past here, you would probably feel the same. I graduated from Concord, New Hampshire, Concord High, literally bottom of my class. Like I was 10th from the bottom out of over 500 kids in my class.
Mm.
I went to jobs, craft school, graduates. Like there was no chance. I was done. But I love cooking. And so I got into the New Hampshire Community Technical College up in Berlin, New Hampshire. I took myself almost to the border of Canada and I started like falling in
That is
love with this
almost to
cooking.
Canada.
Yes,
I've been there. That is
yes.
north.
And so I started falling in love with cooking in this whole new way. Like, wait a second, like there's a power in this, and I can do something special. It's not just hamburgers.
Mm.
And so I got really deep into kind of the philosophy of cooking and how it works. And I was like, I'm gonna see if I can get into the Culinary Institute of America. Like I am this bottom of the barrel kid. It's never gonna happen. I don't have the money, but why not? You miss 100% of the shots you
Try
don't
it.
take,
That's
right?
right.
And so I tried, and they accepted me. And it was immediately like this oh shit moment of like, how do I pay
Now what
for
do
it?
I do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't afford it. And so applied for student loans, got all these grants, and got into the CIA in Hyde Park, New York.
Okay,
And I was like,
y'all, do you understand? The CIA is the thing. That's the Harvard of the cooking schools. Like
yeah.
it's legit, and the campus is stunning. So continue. I'm just setting the tone for how what a big deal this is.
Yeah, so I get into the Harvard of cooking schools, and I'm like, there's no way. Like I can't believe I'm gonna go here. And so I start this journey there. And I have a chef, and his name is Jared Koyak. And I said, what should I do? How do I develop this career? And he said, you can either work for the chef that's worked everywhere and follow them around
Right.
and learn as much as you can, or you can get out and get it. Either way, someone's gonna say you stayed too long or you moved too often. And I said, well, I'm from New Hampshire. I've never really gone anywhere. I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah.
And so I designed this life for myself where I moved every single year.
Hmm.
And so I did it geographically. I worked in the South down in Louisiana, Florida. I did the Caribbean, Hong Kong, St. Martin, you name it. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about each one of those. But I really designed this career to like make sure I had this repertoire of places that touched every culture.
Yeah.
And so I could tell a story through my food. Little did I know I was developing what I now have is this amazing platform as a storyteller and culinary and being able to use it for something like sustainability and conservation.
So I'm sure my audience is going, why does she have a chef on the show? Well, buckle up, guys. There's another chef coming after him. But
Oh,
I and you know her, Jennifer Bushman's going to be.
oh yeah, there you go.
Yep. So the reason is there's so many reasons. Number one, culture obviously is a huge topic that we talk about. Leadership is a huge topic that we talk about. And leadership is like sacred in the culinary world. So, when you're in a kitchen, especially, the higher up with the Michelin stars, hierarchy is massive. Tone is so important. I mean, you can taste the stress in the food if
Yeah.
you're not careful.
Yeah.
Um, so let's dive in a little bit on some of the travel and some of the lessons that you learned. Because when we first started talking, you were telling me, I think you had gone to Ghana. Was it Ghana
Mhm.
that was the story?
It was, yeah, I was in
Yeah.
Ghana.
Start there.
Yeah, I mean, well, to your point, I mean, the entire system of culinary started on the French Brigade system, right? It
Right.
was built off the military, and so it is literally built on leadership in that hierarchy. And so it's incredible to see where it is today and
Yes.
how that funneled through. So in Ghana, Ghana was an opportunity for me to really dive into our partners, and I always say partners instead of purveyors. Right? A purveyor is somebody who gives you food. A partner is somebody who shares the mission. And
Yes.
I work currently for the last 10 years with the SSA group out of Denver. And so we oversee museums, aquariums, zoos. And so all these places are conservation and sustainability driven.
That's right.
And it'd be real easy to just, like you're thinking, serve hot dogs, hamburgers, and chicken tenders. Like that's what you get at those
Mhm.
places. But we've decided we're going to rethink the message because as chefs, we realize we sit at this crossroad of where like nature and culture collide.
Yeah.
And what we put on the plate can actually drive the conversation. And so Ghana was really an opportunity to dive into our chocolate. And so, oh boy, about 2 years ago, the Cho chocolate team reached out to me and they said, "Hey, we want to do something with you. Can you buy our chocolate?" I said, not really. So I'm not really sure what I would do with it. We use chocolate. Like I don't, it's not a huge store. I'm not a pastry chef. And so the chief chocolatier, Brad Kinzer, reached out to me. He said, "What if we did like a chocolate bar together?" So, oh, okay. I said, I don't know much about it. I said, have you ever done a chocolate bar with anybody? He said, no, not really. He said, but it'd be fun, I think. He's like, you're right down the road from us in Berkeley. Like, that'd be fun. I was like, all right. He said, what if we did just like a cool dark chocolate and orange? And I said, yeah, what if we did like seaweed and sea salt? And so we have two partners, Big Sur Salts and Monterey Bay Seaweeds. And we actually put them inside this chocolate bar. And we're like, all right, it tastes kind of funky to be honest. Like it wasn't my favorite. I don't love seaweed. But it made it in the New York Times. And it was this opportunity to like tell a story through food. And we're like, hey, wait a second, there's more of a story here.
Mhm.
And so then we made one with the Oakland Zoo that was based on the grizzly bear diet. In the Museum of Pop Culture, there was Pop Rocks. And we're like, wait, there's a real story. And so
Yes.
Brad and I kept this relationship going. And I said, man, I got to see where it comes from. And so we went to Ghana.
The chocolate
And
he means.
the chocolate. And
Yes.
so Brad, I like to say he's fairly conservative, and I am fairly adventurous. And so we got there, and I feel like Brad had this idea that he was going to show me some factories, and we were going to have some fun, and we were going to come home with a couple of pictures. And I was like, Brad, I want to go to the jungle.
Mhm.
He's like, well, do you want to go like in the jungle, or do you want to like see where the cocoa comes from? I said, I want to go as deep as we can. And so we trekked for like 3 days in Ghana up into the mountains and we picked cocoa pods and we processed and roasted cocoa beans after we fermented them in the sun. And we were able to then bring that back with us and then use that to make a bar in Florida for the Florida Aquarium for AZA. And it was like this, to be honest, one of the coolest moments of my life where I was able to touch the product in the field, not down the street, right? Like
Yes.
farm to table is kind of a crock to me
Mm.
because somebody sold it as this idea a long time ago. Like, oh, it starts on a farm and it ends up on your table. Like that's everything you've ever eaten. And everyone's like, that's so cool. It's
You
so
know what I
unique.
think though, the farm to table movement to me, the reason that it's so important is that we're getting away from processed. And
Yes.
that's the concept that I choose to love.
Yes.
So I hear you. And it's
Yes.
kind of like, yeah, duh, we eat what's in the garden.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people who had never experienced that, this was kind of a bougie way for them to go, oh, innovative tomatoes from the chef's garden. That's great. You know?
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I think for me, it's the idea that there's farms all over the world,
Right.
right? And so there's a broken process, right? And we get to be part of that process and we get to be part of fixing it. And I think that, whether it's Seafood Watch that you use at the Monterey Bay Aquarium or it's your produce company in your local town, like those are guiding principles that allow you to shape the future of food and allow you to really drive the conversation. And for us as chefs, like that's one of the biggest pieces. Like, how do you take hold of the process? Because you're right, it is broken,
Mm,
and the food we eat is filthy. In the stuff that we consume, a lot of it is deadly.
yeah.
And so it's crazy when you hear those things. Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Like it's banned and illegal in other countries.
Yeah, and then it's like in every supermarket
And
here.
it's everything you eat. And so it's wild to look at the process. And so that's what I value so much, is being able to get involved in there and tell these stories of like, hey, yes, we may be getting shrimp from Vietnam,
Yeah.
but there's not enough biomass here in the United States yet for us to consume healthy, untreated, non-chemical shrimp. And so I'm going to give us the opportunity while we teach people how to do the right thing.
Yeah. I think when we first talked about that Ghana story, you explained to me that everything that you were discovering had a ripple.
Mhm.
And so let's take palm oil, for example,
Yeah,
because this is anybody that pays any attention to ingredients, palm oil is a no-no. You're not supposed
mhm.
to eat it. It's not good for you. It's wrecking and ravaging forests and, people that are using it in lotions and whatever, like choose
Yeah,
something else. Um, so you kind of went in with that mentality too. But what did you discover? Because when you were trekking through Ghana
yeah.
and you smell I don't want to ruin the story. You tell it.
No, you're right. I mean, it comes down to you don't protect what you don't value, and you don't value what you don't know. And so I'm driving through Ghana, and we're on these back roads, and I see all these burning pits. I'm like, what in the world is that? It's like, it looks like tar pits.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't understand. And so we passed one, and we passed a few, and every other place we're passing, I said, we got to pull over. Brad said, that's probably not the safest place to pull over. I said, I want to pull over right now. And so we get out and we go into this shack, and there's kids and families, and they get the big sticks, and there's these burning cauldrons. It looks like tar. I'm like, what the hell is that? He said, oh, that's palm oil. I said, this is what we eat. He said, yeah. He said, it's everywhere, and this is what they survive on. And it was this moment of like very pivotal moment in my brain of like,
Mhm.
okay, we're telling everyone don't,
Mhm.
and we're telling everyone can't, but then everyone here has to in order to survive. It's where their food's coming from. It's how they're
Yeah,
putting the kids through
what's their
school.
option?
And
Like
what
if
is
they
their
can't do
option?
palm oil, then what?
Right. Then there's nothing right now. And I think so it's again, it's being part of that conversation, understanding that your choices matter,
Yeah.
and even your choices not to matter. And I'm not advocating to go out and eat everything with palm oil. I'm saying as a collective of billions of humans in this world, we've got to be able to find a solution.
Yeah.
And it won't come from me, but it's going to come from someone out there who's going to go, hey,
Yeah.
instead of them growing palm, they could do this. And so food is such a transformative opportunity, I think, and it's such a language, right? And so whether I'm in
Yeah.
Ghana, like you said, or Africa, or it doesn't matter where in Africa or where in Asia I am, food is the language,
Hmm.
right? A tomato is a tomato, an onion's an onion, a cow is a cow, and you can only cook it so many different ways, and so that you don't have to talk. You can talk through food, and that's one of the things I've always loved so much about traveling is I don't need to bring a translator with me because I speak a language that everybody speaks in this world.
Yeah. And I think that requires a fair amount of being open in your heart
Sure.
and being, a really good listener and really observant. And I think the best leaders have those qualities.
Yeah.
So I mean, when we met, it was a no-brainer to bring you on the show because there were so many parallels to good leadership. And, in the culinary world, leadership is everything. It sets the tone for the restaurant, it sets the tone for a movement. And you take somebody like Chef Jose Andres and look what he's done, with World Central Kitchen. Talk about a leader, talk about somebody with heart. And it goes back to the one person can make quite an impact.
Yeah.
And so, you have a great big voice now with some recognition. So
Mhm.
talk a little bit about the work that you're doing to get the word out.
Yeah. So I've worked my entire career to try and find what I am, right?
Yeah.
So I look at culinary as this kind of culmination of my life because when I was in high school, I was this dorky kid. And I had no group. I didn't fit in. I was such
Yeah.
an outcast. And
Hmm.
then I got to college and I was like, what? Everybody's speaking the same language. They all love what I love. I have a bunch of
Yeah.
friends now because I'm cool, because they're cool, and we're all in this group.
Great equalizer.
Yeah, my my life was much the same, and that I was trying to find my way in my career through all these hotels and different jobs and different places I worked. And then I found the Monterey Bay Aquarium and the SSA group, and I was like, wait a second, these are my people.
Yep.
And it clicked that like, this is my mission. Like I am going to speak to conservation and sustainability and how food, when you put it in the center of the plate, is able to tell that story. And
Mhm.
when you think about it, like the quickest way to somebody's heart is through their stomach, they say, right? Like
Yes.
that is it. And
Yep.
so seafood is really this opportunity for me to make an impact,
Mhm.
right? It is the last wild hunt that we consume as people.
Yep.
We've domesticated cows, chickens, pigs, everything else has been domesticated. Seafood is this last wild hunt, which is absolutely mind-boggling to think of.
Yeah.
Like that we've jacked the whole system up so badly. This is it, and we're about to jack this one up.
Yeah.
And so to be able to speak on these things is amazing. And so I never in a million years would have thought that I would be standing on a stage in Abu Dhabi 2 weeks
Mhm.
ago at the World Conservation Congress at the IUCN talking about conservation and food. And I've, from what I can pull together, I'm the only chef that's ever spoke at the IUCN ever,
Mhm.
right? The lead speaker was supposed to be Dr. Jane Goodall. Like
Mm.
it's mind blowing. Yeah, bless her. And so it's amazing to think that we are at a place where chefs have a voice in that arena,
Yeah.
and that those two things are finally starting to come together because we're only successful when science and community and all of us come
Yes.
together,
Yes.
right? Because you can't make a change as one person
Mhm.
unless you're inspiring other people. And so I'm a firm believer that as one person, you have a ton of power,
Yeah.
but that power is to inspire other people.
Mm.
And I think that's people miss. They go, well, I can't do anything by myself. Like, yeah, you can, but
Mhm.
that one thing is to get somebody else excited. Like you can't do it all.
So, what are two or three things that the average Joe or Jane could do to make a better impact with their choices?
I love that question. So for me, it's always asking questions.
Hmm.
So you look at a program like Seafood Watch, for example.
Hmm.
It is a science-based organization with a bunch of people who know way more than I'll ever know. And they go out and they make these assessments of these fisheries. And then they tell you what's good, what's bad based on feed and based on, environmental impact and all these other things. That doesn't work unless you and me are asking for it at the grocery store.
Right.
And so I would say the biggest thing you can do is ask. The biggest
Mm.
thing you can do is get involved. And it's designed for you to fail, right?
Yeah.
You go into a grocery store and you say, hey, we're going to have dinner tonight. We're going to have salmon.
Hmm.
You're going to go through your produce section. You're going to get your corn, your potatoes. You're going to get your milk and your dairy. At the very back is your seafood.
Hmm.
And you're going to go, hey, Joe, listen, is this seafood sustainable? And they're going to go, yeah, sure. And you're going to get it. And so that's it. And that's how the transaction stops. But when I go in tomorrow and I go, hey, Joe, I'm looking for Ora King salmon. Do you guys have it? He's going to go, wait a second. I heard this yesterday. This is the second time I've heard this now.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it starts to snowball. And Joe goes, wait a second. We're going to have to look into the sustainability thing because people are asking for it and we can charge a premium for it.
Yes.
And so there starts to be this roller coaster, this snowball, if you will,
Mhm.
of information to them that goes, we need to make a change. And so getting involved, asking questions is the most important, I think.
I think that's a great point. And I sat next to a regional manager of Costco on a plane once, and I was telling him this is a few years ago, and I said, I wish it was probably 10 years ago plus. I said, I wish you guys had more organic food. And he said, and now they do, but he said, well, just so you know, every time you buy something, you're voting with your dollars. And the more organic stuff that you buy, it lets us know that there's a better desire for it. And so literally when I do my Costco Instacart, I search on organic and I see what's new and I see, like I like to know. I'm very curious. And so I'm not afraid to ask, if they have something or if they could get something. And they also do a lot of seasonal stuff. So you'll find
Right.
something you really love and then it's gone. So disappointing. But okay, so back to the a couple things that we can do because I cut you off. So asking at the supermarket, is this sustainable? So stores like Whole Foods and like you can rest easy that it likely is. Yes?
Yeah, and they're doing the research for you, right? And I think that's
Yes.
the other piece is doing your research. So there's tons of information out there, right? You have the Seafood Watch app for seafood because again, I'm so passionate about it.
So wait, talk about the app because people don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
So
So
you
let's
can you
tell
go
them.
online to seafoodwatch.org and you're able to then look up your seafood. So you can type in salmon
Hmm.
and it's going to tell you the green, which is the best choice, the yellow, which is a good alternative, and the red, which is an
Hmm.
avoid. And so it's this cool tool that takes no time, right? And as a
Right.
chef, it really helps me because it takes all the work out of it,
Yeah.
and you know that someone's doing that work for you.
Well, that's a really cool way to do it because listen, we listen to these trends, right? Don't eat tilapia. It's junk. It's garbage. It's
Yeah.
this. Like, and I heard that once and I'm like, never again. We're never having tilapia ever again. But I don't know like how much that's really real.
Yeah.
So to be able to have a source to tell you, yeah, okay, farm raised is actually okay when you have XYZ. I think people thought farm raised meant, I'm going to load it up with antibiotics and all kinds of garbage, and that's not always the case, right?
It is not. And so that's for the better part of my career. Farmed has been don't touch it. Don't
Right.
touch it. You don't want it. It's trashing communities. They're loading it with antibiotics, like you said. Did you know I read this fact the other day, and I'm going to share this with you because it was insanity. And if there's
Yeah.
someone out there who can fact check me, please fact check
All
me.
right.
But it said 73% of all the antibiotics ever produced are given to animals,
Mhm.
not people,
Ugh.
which is wild to think. Like if you process that for a moment, so they're still given to people, but there's people doing it right, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I started working in Vietnam. These shrimp are bringing over because I went there and it was the first time in my life. I'm 41 years old, Lindsay, and it's the first time in my life I've ever eaten shrimp that tasted like shrimp. Like
Mm.
that's mind blowing. Like I've never had it as a chef even. The amount
Yeah.
of shrimp that I've cooked, that I've consumed is insane. And
Yeah.
I've never eaten one that didn't have chemicals in it,
Yep.
that didn't have citric acid in it. And so shrimp have become this vehicle for cocktail sauce or something you throw in pasta, but to be able to put them back in the center of the plate is incredible. And so I go to Vietnam and I see these folks in these mangroves that are in their backyard. It's literally their entire, it's like having your backyard just be a shrimp farm and it's beautiful mangroves. And inside it is milkfish and mud crab. And they open up these gates at the end of the farm, and the water from the Mekong Delta flows in and flows out. And twice a month they open it to harvest. And whatever comes out is what they catch. They're not dragging the bottom,
Mm-mm.
they're not coercing the shrimp out. They come out with the moon cycle. And so you have this shrimp that is the most natural shrimp you'll ever have in your life, caught
Mm.
in the most incredibly natural way, zero bycatch. They're never fed, they're never inoculated, and it tastes like shrimp. Like there's people in this world that will go their entire life and never taste a shrimp
Yeah.
that tastes like shrimp. Like that's
I,
crazy to me.
this is why I love travel so much.
Yeah.
And when you get to experience something you thought you always knew, like we went to Panama a few years ago and we had bananas.
Mm-hmm.
I had never had a juicy banana. And when you say those words, people are like, bananas aren't juicy. They're
Right.
soft. They're mushy. Like, what are you talking about? This was the craziest tasting banana. And I was like, is this what they're all supposed to taste like? Have we been duped? This is what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
So it's so wild that things can taste really how they're supposed to when they're given the right environment to grow. All right, so hold that thought because I have more questions in just a second. So, guys, I always have a little present for you. So, to my loyal listeners, holidays are fast approaching. If you need to do some shopping, go check out cozyearth.com. Use the code LEAD with heart. You get that just from me, and you get the deepest discount you can find anywhere. It's 41% off. You get what you want. I get a little commission too. Go shopping, buy something gorgeous and luxurious, bamboo sheets. Oh my gosh. And they were on Oprah's favorite things list 9 times. So this stuff is really, really great. Okay, and if you love this conversation as much as I do, please tell your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel, go leave a 5-star review at Apple or Spotify. You have no idea how much that means to people that create these beautiful shows. Okay, so back to the show. So, Matt, what inspires you?
I get inspired by seeing the change, and
Yeah,
I think that's what's so incredible. It is I get to watch it happen, and so to your point, traveling
yeah,
is one of those pieces that I love so much because I get to see the impact in what we're doing. And you said it perfectly earlier. We vote with our dollars and we
yes,
vote with what's on our plate. And so knowing that when I'm buying shrimp, that I know that the families it's impacting. I
yeah,
know the schools that it's helping build. I know that it's helping build a bridge that ties communities together, like literally building bridges. Like that's crazy with food. And so
yeah,
I think the inspiration for me comes from impact and change. And it doesn't just happen overseas, it happens here.
of
We go
course.
out constantly in California, in Monterey, and we're working in the fields. Or when we're down in Florida, we're with our shrimp farmers. Like we are constantly trying to find ways to connect with our partners because it feeds us. Like that's what fills
Yeah,
our cup. And I think any chef would love to share that. Like I would encourage any of you who are listening to like talk to your chefs because the
yeah,
things we love talking about most is not the food we put on the plate. Most of us it's the partners. It's let me tell you about this farmer. Let me tell you about this fisherman. Like they're the ones doing the work.
yeah.
We're just the stewards of it.
Oh, I have a favorite restaurant that it's been around for, I think, 26 years, maybe 27 years now in Boston. That's a long time for a restaurant to live. And
Hmm.
I was there when it opened, and I actually worked there for a short time. But part of the reason I loved them so much was the wait staff was trained to talk about where everything came from. So every dish was a story. And so if you were ordering the duck came from a farm in New Hampshire, and the rutabagas were grown on the roof deck of the restaurant. And like you just had so much appreciation for what you were about to eat. And by empowering the team to be able to tell that story, it changes the experience for the diners and it makes them so much more aware. So anytime you can ask, and anytime, and I was with Jennifer Bushman for lunch, and we were at row 34 in Boston, and they're telling us where the oysters came from. And as we're eating the oysters, they brought in a bunch of packs of
Yeah.
oysters like in
Yeah.
a cart, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's so fresh.
When it gives you a
And
sense of place, right? Like it
yeah,
puts you where you are. Like
yes,
it's that moment where you can be part of it wherever you are on vacation. When I first got to Monterey, I remember walking up and down the row and going, "Man, there's a lot of clam chowder, and everyone's handing out clam chowder." I said, "That's an East Coast thing to me.
yeah,
To me, warm,
you're from New
hearty, stick
England,
to your
of
bones with
course.
snow. Like that's chowder. Out here, it's cioppino."
Right,
And so like
right.
I took the chowder off our menu and I said, I want to highlight what's
Local.
here and what's
Yeah.
local. And yes, we're going to tell some international stories because as an organization and the platform that I have, I owe it to use that voice to people that are doing the right thing, to inspire people to do the right thing here and inspire a larger conversation. But everything we do tries to tell a local story. All of our produce comes from down the street. Like it is such an amazing thing as a chef to be able to do that.
Hmm.
And I know I won't be there forever. I'm not going to be in California. My life has taken me all over the world.
I know.
But I know that while I'm there, I want to make sure that I'm making the biggest impact in that community that I can. And I think that's what all these chefs want to do.
Well, just gave me the perfect segue for my next question, which is what would you like your legacy to be?
Well, that's a big question. I think I want my legacy to be one of change and impact and giving people voices. I have always said this wasn't supposed to be my story and it wasn't supposed to go
I
like
think
this.
you need to stop saying that. I think it was always supposed to be your story. I think you're just catching up.
Yeah, and I think it's the ability to leave a stage for somebody else to step onto that necessarily would not have always had that stage. And so I think giving voices to these farmers in the Mekong or to these ranchers or to the people out in the Ghana in the jungle, like giving them a voice to me has been the most inspiring thing to me. But like that's what I want my legacy to be. I don't want it to be my voice. I want it to be the ability to give them a voice through me.
Well, you're creating space for a lot of goodness to happen, so I'm grateful to you for that.
Thank you.
So what's next for you?
What's next? Well, I'm working currently with Seafood Watch on a program. So Tunisian swimming crab. Red has always been the issue for the U.S. Red crab, like crab cakes are huge. The
Sure.
Maryland crab fishery, like they've always been working to get better, but I've always had a problem getting green rated crab. And
Mm.
so I'm looking at
And what is
Tunisia.
green rated crab for those
So
that don't know?
best choice crab that is caught in a
Mhm.
sustainable way that doesn't have bycatch that isn't environmentally destructive and so there's a lot that goes into those assessments. I would
Mhm.
encourage you to go look because there is some stuff in the U.S. that's great, but I'm actually working on a program in Tunisia with them to get some crab, which will be amazing. And we actually got some in 2 weeks ago, and it was fantastic. Like I just
Oh.
to get products from around the world that you know are coming from these really small communities,
Mhm.
it just it fills me in a way that I can't explain because I know what it's doing. I know the impact it's having. We had the Blue Ribbon Task Force convening with the Monterey Bay Aquarium recently with all the chefs, and so it's all these chefs from around the country, and we come together to talk about the future of seafood.
Mhm.
And so, for the first time in the history of Seafood Watch, bluefin tuna is off the red list and on the yellow list. In
Wow.
it's Pacific bluefin specifically, California.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's the first time. It's always been a red list item. And so you look at something like that and you go, it's working.
Mhm.
Like what we're doing is working. And so it seems so minuscule to go, I'm not going to eat it. That's
Yeah.
not going to do anything if I don't eat it. But it goes right back to your point, the power of one, right? Like
Mhm.
you have to start somewhere. And if everyone back in the day said, I'm not going to stop eating bluefin because it won't matter, we wouldn't be where we are today. And so
100%.
the system is recovering. The California groundfish is recovering. Like all these fish are making comebacks because people are making decisions with their
Mhm.
dollars and on their plates.
So cool. Be the change you want to see.
Yes.
It's very easy. Okay, so give people just like one thing everybody could do after listening to this episode today that would make a good impact or change their life in a positive way.
I think the best thing you can do is get out there, try something different,
Hmm.
and ask questions. We all get into this routine. We go, I know where I'm going to eat, like you said. I know my favorite restaurant. Go
Hmm.
somewhere different, try something new,
Yeah.
and have a conversation because those are the conversations that are going to change the world. And it may be that you inspire the chef. It may be that you inspire your fishmonger. It may be that you inspire your grocer.
Hmm.
But have a conversation today because if every single one of you listening does it, the opportunities are endless to the change
Yeah.
we can make.
It's really cool. I think it's a great leadership moment for our listeners to, we're always talking in business and I talk to a lot of CEOs, but I talk to a lot of athletes and I talk to, heads of networks and, people that are all doing incredible things. And it's just one more example of being a leader in your life and you will have a ripple effect with those choices. So it's pretty cool. So where can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn is the best place to find me. I have focused all my attention there because it's a great leadership platform.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly sharing what we're doing, what we're working on as a group there, constantly sharing my travels. I am always in Monterey at the Monterey Bay Aquarium or on a plane somewhere. And so it's an awesome place to be able to share those stories and connect with people who also are passionate about the same thing.
Well, I have loved having you on the show, Matt. Thank you for sharing your stories, and he has so many more. He has literally traveled the world. So, guys, reach out, connect with Matt, tell him you heard him here. And, guys, please, if you like the show, tell your friends, share the show, go watch it on YouTube or subscribe on Apple or Spotify or wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. I appreciate you so much, Matt. And to
Okay.
the loyal listeners, get out there, have a great day and go lead with heart. Thanks for listening to this episode of Heartbeat for Hire. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or consider leaving a 5-star review and a great rating at Spotify or Apple. Thank you so much for your support. Have a great day.